Hey YouTube, this is City Prepping. If you've watched my channel for any length of time, one of the things that you know I often discuss is my desire to get property. Well, after years and years of looking, getting into escrow, falling out, you name it, it's happened, I was finally able to purchase this property here behind me about a month ago. So what does this mean for the channel? Well, it really is going to allow us to expand out our content and get way more practical and hands-on. And I know a lot of you may be asking, well, what happened to city prepping? Well, with this environment, we're going to now be able to section off a certain amount of square footage and say, hey, the average American backyard, for example, is this size. So here's what you can do with this. And we're going to actually take you and show you and document the process to bring you on this journey to hopefully help encourage you, if you're in the same situation of wanting to learn how to prepare in an urban or suburban environment. Now, over time, we will expand out the content to also include homesteading content because we've got several acres here. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take you through and show you the property. There's three main components. There's a house behind me, there's a barn off to the side, and then there's a back lot where we have a thick oak forest with an active creek. I'm here actually filming in the middle of summer and I've got an active creek right now, believe it or not. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'll take you through, I'll show you everything. Be sure to stick around to the end because I'll get a lot more into detail explaining where things are going to go next. So let's jump in. All right, what I'm going to do now is walk you through the barn. This is kind of the first project that I'm working on. We're doing a lot of things in here to get it ready to transfer the studio over and a few other things. I'm going to take my camera phone, flip it around, and show you inside. So let's go. Well, hello there. Let me take you through the barn. I'm going to show you the studio where we're going to set up our new recording studio for the channel, our environment that we're calling the lab where we're going to do solar generator reviews. And I'm also going to take you upstairs where we're going to begin to create our own editing environment. So let's jump into it. All right, so let me walk you through what we have here. Again, this is a barn that was converted into a house. They permitted it. Obviously, I've got a lot of trash thrown around, but what we'll do is create a studio here. We'll have kind of a camera pointing this way where we can do one shot. I'll obviously seal off the windows and control the light. The other area will probably be over here where we can do different types of, setups and videos. And then I can have another camera pointed over here. So essentially I can create three different shooting environments for the channel. Now over here we'll have our kitchen, or we do have a kitchen, and we can use this area for food preservation, canning, dehydration, freeze drying, that whole thing. And so what we'll do is we'll again be working on this environment here over the next several weeks, cleaning this up and getting it ready. And just let me walk you into what I call kind of the lab. This is the old garage, and we've gone in, cleaned it up, and put up a roll-up door, put in shelves. I'm storing all the solar generators that I review. I've got still a lot at my other place I'm transferring over. But as you can see, I've got a lot of these different units. I'm going to be testing these over the next few weeks and doing a video comparing these kind of larger whole home units, the High Solace, the Pecrons, the EcoFlows, Endure, Blue Eddy, Anchor, Goal Zero, you name it, we're going to be reviewing it so you can get an understanding of how these units stack up against each other if you want to power your house. Speaking of which, I had an electrician install this setup. Up here is an AC disconnect switch. If you pull the handle down, it disconnects you from the grid. Then I have a transfer switch that allows us to transfer over to these inputs right here. I've got a 120 and a 240. So with these units, I can now tie these in and then power this sub panel. The reason I went with this is because a lot of the videos that I do, I'll show powering different things, but it's hard for people to get an idea unless they actually see powering a house. Well, what does that look like? Well, now with this environment, we can actually show how, even at your home with a transfer switch, you can now power your whole house using some of these different options that are on the market. So let me now take you and show you upstairs real quick where we're gonna have our editing area that we'll build out here pretty soon. This is the upstairs loft. You probably can hear in the mic, it's a bit echoey. It's kind of a small enclosed environment with a hardwood floor. But really what we're gonna do in this environment is set up our computers for editing. We can set up an environment for photo shoots for different products that we test. Nothing really exciting happens in here other than kind of administrative, but I want to give you a behind the scenes and show you what we have up here. I came up the stairs a second ago, stairwell's right here, but that's really the setup that we have here. So yeah. Let me take you over to the house. So what I want to do now is walk you through the main house. A second ago, I took you through and explained the barn that was up on the hill, but the house here over my shoulder is an area that we're going to begin to work on here in a few months in earnest. What are we going to be doing in this environment? Well, the goal is to create more or less to simulate a self-sufficient environment for a typical suburban urban backyard. What we'll do is we're going to take this whole area right here and we're going to strip it down. I'm going to move the propane tank over here. We'll retrench that and move it out. We're going to move that place set. We'll take up the 2x4s here. We'll take up the tree, and we're basically going to kind of strip it down to just the bare yard. And the point of this is that we're going to show you step by step. If you were just starting out with a piece of dirt, a backyard, whatever your situation is, how do you go about setting up your irrigation lines? How do you set up a rain harvesting system? How do you set up a chicken coop? What are all the considerations? So we're going to walk you through and document that whole process to hopefully, again, incentivize you and help you through your own process if you're in the same situation. Now at the moment, one of the things that we're also working on is these eucalyptus trees right here to the side. We're going to be topping those here in a few months. I can't right now because the beetles are still active, and if we did, we would potentially risk infection and those dying off. So we're going to wait a little more till kind of the fall, late fall season. Also, this hill over here next to me, the issue with it is it's got a lot, or it's a steep hill. And as a result, the house itself has unfortunately developed a cracked foundation. It wasn't substantial enough to prevent me from buying it, but we've got to mitigate future water intrusion by grading that down. I talked to a contractor the other day and we're going to build a terrace. We're going to terrace off the dirt there to stop the water. Trying to think some of the other projects that we've been working on. Again, that's just been kind of a work in progress over the last few weeks, and we'll be working on over the next few weeks. The next big thing I'm going to be doing on the house here behind me is setting up solar and batteries. I'm working with a company. We're going to set up a solar stand on the side here in the yard where we're going to be able to put up solar panels that can actually be moved throughout the season depending on where the sun elevation is. And so I'll document that process. And I know a lot of people ask me, well, hey, I'd like to take my house off grid. We're also going to show you how you can easily do that, and we'll document that whole process. So let me go ahead and walk you through. I'm going to take you up here to the front of the house and we'll walk through real quick. It's not an exciting house, to be honest. And I'll also show you the well house down the hill where we get our water from. All right, well, let me show you around the inside of the house. Okay, so here's our kitchen. Now again, like the barn, there's not much happening. I've been throwing junk around here and there as I'm working through stuff. We've got a dining area in here, and then our main living room environment here. The fireplace, it's got problems, so we're gonna have to get that eventually repaired. There's some cracks in the chimney that was identified during inspection. We have a small bedroom here and another small bedroom in here. Now, if we come around, and I'll show you really quickly, the laundry room, really exciting, the bathroom, hello, and then the main master bedroom. And again, what we're going to be able to do with these environments is create and simulate different environments for whether you live in a small apartment based on your square footage. What can you do? So it kind of opens this up for ideas. And if you're watching this video and you say, well, could you show how to do this, or a small environment for preparedness, or small prepping space, let me know. Because again, this whole environment opens up just an endless amount of possibilities of what we can do. So what I want to do now is take you down to the well house. This is, by the way, the patio that extends out in front of the main house. I love this area. We've got some electrical work to do, but I'm pretty excited to have family events and other things that we can do out here with this environment. It's just really cool. By the way, I'll take you into the oak forest here in a second. So let me show you the well house. Now, let me try to cover this because the sun's coming in. Over here, we've got a lot of oak trees. This is one of my daughter's favorite areas. There's a swing set here. Trying to look down as I film so I don't trip. But one of the things is this house is not on city water. As you can see, we've got a structure down here, and let me kind of take you down here real quick. All right, we're now down here at the well house, and one of the selling features on this house that really sold me was these stained glass windows. Classic, beautiful, probably imported from Europe. No expense was spared. All right, so we're in here at the well house. Some of the stuff was left behind by the previous tenant, and here is the actual well. I don't really know the depth. I'm assuming in this area, most of them around 350 feet. Got the pump, filter, and our electrical setup here. One of the things that we're gonna do is set up a solar system here pretty soon, and we're gonna tie in the batteries to this to actually show you how you can pump and power your well through a battery system through solar. So this is the well house, and let me just show you really quickly. If you look out here, here is the main house that we just did a walkthrough with the patio at the top of the hill. So this is, yeah, down a hill. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take you into the back lot. This is the area behind the house where we actually have an active creek. So I'll see you over there. Okay, I'm gonna now take you to the back lot. So where I'm standing right now is in the backyard. I just took you through the house. A second ago, I took you and showed you the well house down there. I'm now back in the backyard of the house. And by the way, the barn is up there. That was the first structure that we walked through. But now we are standing in the backyard, and you can see we've got this beautiful oak forest. By the way, this is going to be trimmed back. It's hanging over, but we got a lot of work. We got a lot of trimming to do on these trees. But down here is an active creek. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you down here, and we're gonna walk along the area back here and then take you up over into a hill over there where we'll do other projects. So let's go ahead and jump down there. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in to the back lot. Now here at the back of the backyard, the previous owners, they set up chain link fences. Got a gate here that I just opened. And as we come down here, you are gonna get to see an amazing creek. Well, it's running, so barely, but we'll call it a creek. All right, so let me watch the ground here. It's a little steep, but this is an area down here that's on the back of the property. And let me come over and say hi to the main camera as I'm recording here. Got two cameras going. Right down here is our creek. And as you can see, it is running. And let me kind of pan over here to let you see kind of where it comes from. So essentially upstream, I'm not sure how far, maybe about half a mile or so, I think there's a spring somewhere at the base of a mountain. I've kind of looked on satellite photos, and I can see about half a mile up, there's, at the bottom of a hill, there's an area of green trees where obviously there's water. And all down this kind of, you know, valley here, this little valley, you can see green, and all along the way to downstream. So clearly there's a water source somewhere upstream. I'll have to go and look at that one day. But let me bring the camera down here. It is moving ever so slightly. And again, we're right in the middle of the summertime, and yeah, plenty of mosquitoes and stuff like that, flies, but it is moving, just barely. But the point is we have some kind of an active spring. So let me take you up here really quick and try to watch where I'm going. So again, got the camera recording as we're talking here. Let me get up here to the top of this area, and then I'll take you to the main back lot where we have an area where we'll do some stuff. Okay, so as you can see, there is a pole right here. This is my property line. Now, if you were to cut across, let me see if you can see this. Okay, you see over there, there is that well house. You can barely see through this thicket here. But that's the well house. So if you were to cut across, wells over here, this is all the property for mine. And then it cuts back up there, and we'll go up there in a second and look at that. But in the meantime, what I'll do is walk you through and show you. This is one of the warning signs a previous owner left behind. I thought that was pretty nice. All right, so I'm gonna try to walk and pay attention. I'm a little paranoid with the rattlesnakes. We've got a lot of scat on the ground. We've got a lot of coyotes. I'm always, every time I come out here, I always see coyotes running around. But again, you can see our creek down here, and I'll keep walking here. Now, as you can see, we've got a fence coming up right over there. And that is the fence that goes onto the back of my property. But there's a really interesting area down here. There's a rain culvert, or just not a rain culvert, but excuse me, a area where we can definitely maybe set up a dam of sorts. Again, I'll have to look into the restrictions on that, because I know every county's got different rules on that. But ideally, what I would love to do is set up some type, and by the way, you've got a lot of erosion, so I'm gonna have to bring in and drop in rocks to prevent this from eroding further. But as you can see, we've definitely got water moving, which is a good sign. But ideally, what I'd love to do is clean out this tree, set up kind of some kind of a structure so that in the wintertime, when we get a lot of rain, that I can actually, how should I say, set up some type of, you know, water harvesting system, set up a pipe with a pump to go up the hill. The barn that we walked through at the beginning of the video is up there on the back of that hill. And so, I don't know, I'll have to look into the restrictions. I don't really know what the laws are on that, but I'll have to look at it. So I've got a couple of drain pipes. They built a, like a concrete, they've got concrete here where you can walk over. And then the property goes back a little ways. And again, I'm just so amazed at the beauty and this, just how scenic it is back here. But what I'll do, hopefully the sun's not gonna be too bright, but I'll walk you up here at the top of the hill, and then we're gonna cut over and I'll show you the area in the back where there's another segment of property up here where I'll probably set up our beehives and stuff like that. Okay, so we are now at the back lot. You can see my shadow here. And this area up here, under this thick oak tree, is an area where I'll develop out in the future. This will probably be phase 4 or 5, where set up additional garden beds up here. We'll have to do some type of water storage up here, probably set up solar systems to power everything. We've got the water down there that we'll pump up from, hopefully in the wintertime. And additionally, I'd love to set up bees out here. This is remote, far enough away from the house where they're not gonna be an intrusion right up next to the house, but we can set up bees here. Now, I don't know what the previous owner had going on. It looks like they had some kind of, I don't know, shed of sorts, but this is an area where we can set up additional garden beds and, again, bees. Now, I'll show you really quick where the property line ends. So we've got this fence right here, this pole. And if you were to cut through that tree right there, and if you look way down there, you can see right where my finger's at, the fence line is right there. So if you were to cut back, cut through the tree, and then up here, all of this section right here is the property. And again, we've got this nice active spring, or rather a creek down here that's spring fed somewhere. But this is what I'm kind of considering and what I'm calling the back lot. And this is gonna be kind of a future area we'll develop. So let me walk you back down and we'll walk up the rest of the property. So what I'm gonna do now is show you kind of the other section of the back lot. As I stand right here, again, this is where those rain culverts are that go into this kind of concrete, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, bridge, walkover path here. We've got the creek going on both sides, and they put in a chain link fence here on this side. This property, interestingly enough, a lot of deferred maintenance, but man, they put in a lot of chain link fences everywhere, which is probably not cheap. So let me show you the back area here, and then I'll walk you up the hill to the barn where we have the animal pen where they originally had sheep and goats. And so let me show you that area really quick. Okay, so I just came in through this gate here, and again, the back lot is up there. And if we turn around here, this is, again, the back segment of the property, and up here we'll walk up and we've got animal pen, we've got the barn up there. So let me go ahead and walk you through this. And again, I just want to look up from time to time to show you, it just blows my mind, these beautiful oak trees everywhere. I do realize that these are going to take a lot of maintenance. There definitely needs to be a lot of trimming. Where I live, there's a lot of restrictions on even cutting down oak trees. It's illegal, but we can trim them. And so yeah. So anyway, over here we've got, if you look, let me just point out real quick, the corner of the property, the chain link fence goes over there. We've got these nice oak trees that, again, extend out here. I could definitely see doing some type of, I don't know, setup down here because I just love the openness. I don't know, it's just amazing to me. Again, we need to trim these oak trees back a lot. And as you can see, we got some chain link fence over here, which represents the other border of the property. And what I'll do is I'll take you up here. This is, again, the back where we have the pen, and we started off at the beginning of the video in the barn, and this is where the barn's at. And probably what we'll do is set up a solar array on the side of this hill. It does get a nice amount of sun here. We'll have to figure out in the wintertime because that is the south. So the sun will arc, currently it arcs like this. It's the west over here, east over here, south is over there. So the problem is in the wintertime, the sun's gonna be behind those trees. So we may not get a lot there. So we'll probably have to set up on the top of the barn, but we are gonna have the trees topped off here in the next few months. So that will give us more exposure to the sun. So again, we have the animal pen here. And as I mentioned a second ago, the previous owners had sheeps and goats. And what I'm noticing in a lot of these properties is that people have sheeps and goats because, you know, they can trim the property back. And I'm imagining that's why they have the chain link fences running everywhere, because again, it just allows them to maintain the property. So let me walk you over to this side of the barn and we'll pick up there. Okay, so I'll just pick up over here at this corner because again, I think this is a great view down here where we have our creek. And again, we just came a second ago over that area right there. And again, it's pretty hilly here. There's not a lot of usable space, but again, this is something I can develop out in the future down the road. One of the issues that I'm noticing is that we've got a lot of holes that are showing up everywhere. The previous owners had dogs that they let run on the property. Now that there's no dogs running, as you can see, we're getting these massive squirrel holes. They're setting up shop. So I'm probably out of necessity, gonna need to set up, or rather add dogs to the property here soon. So this is, again, the back of the main house, and let me point you over here to the back area of the barn. And again, we've got this nice stable area where we can set up for various animals. So again, we've got this area right here where I can add in sheep. I believe the previous owner had like 10 or 12 sheep. They had a lot when I came over the first time to look at it, and some goats. What I'm learning in this area is that a lot of the people have goats to allow them to keep the property clean. This is not something I want to have to get out here and weed whack all the time or mow. So I'll probably bring those in for obviously other purposes as well. On the barn, one of the things that we want to do is add solar panels on the top, but the shingles are old and we did find some water damage in the garage when we bought the property. So it indicates obviously there needs to be work done on the roof. If you add solar panels, they may last 20 years, but if you have old shingles, those won't last. So you have to take care of the roof before you put on the panels. So this is pretty much full walk around. So let's go in and we'll wrap it up. So that's the property. What does that mean for the channel and where things are going to go moving forward? For years, I have dreamt of this. There's days where I come here to do work and I find myself almost pinching myself that something I've been dreaming of for years is finally realized. And the thing that excites me the most is now I can teach at a level that I've never been able to do on the channel. Behind the scenes, there's things going on where I'm having to offload certain responsibilities that have kind of tied me up, administrative work over the last several months. And it's been really difficult to get out and really expand in the direction I want to. We brought on someone new on the team that's helped with that. And it's gonna free me up to now begin to focus on this property to, again, build out gardens, set up chicken coop, greenhouse. I mean, solar, we can do so many projects here. All of this is in service of helping teach you everything that you would need to know as a prepper, whether you live in an urban, suburban, rural area. And again, this now opens up so many doors. I kind of feel like this is phase 2 of the channel. For years, I've had different environments where I've been able to teach, but this is a new expanded capacity where I'm able to dedicate content just for this information. So I just want to finish by saying thank you to you all. I know a lot of you have been with me for years, and it's been an interesting journey, especially those that have maybe come in since COVID. But as many challenges as we all can see on the horizon, I firmly believe this is the time, if you haven't already, to get serious about preparedness. And my hope is, as I show you, as I go through a learning process, I'm nearly at 1.1 million subscribers, and I feel like I'm starting over in many ways, having to relearn and start over so many things that I've got to go at a whole new level and learn myself so that I can fully teach it correctly. But my heart has always been to teach, and I'm just so excited for what I can do with this property. So if you have a homestead or you have experience doing some of the things that I've talked about we'll be doing on the property, feel free to share it, reach out to me. Because again, it's kind of a fresh slate, fresh start for me to take and really develop this whole thing out in a whole new way. So if you have any thoughts or feedback, feel free to post that below. And as always, stay safe out there.